What's up, MetaNerdz? This video is all about the Single Trooper Aerial Platform, also known as the STAP. This thing was made by Bactoid Armor Workshop, the same company that brought us the Armored Assault Tank and the Multi-Troop Transport. The idea for the STAP came from a civilian vehicle called the Airhook. This thing was used by civilians to navigate quickly and easily through dense cities. Bactoid Armor Workshop thought that this could be a great addition to their droid army, and a great way to carry out both reconnaissance missions, and for hunting down or routing enemy soldiers. And best of all, they were able to produce these pretty cheaply, just 2,500 credits, making them barely more expensive than the battle droids that rode on top of them. This money got you a vehicle that was 2 meters or 6.5 feet tall, with an insane top speed of 400 kilometers per hour, or 248 miles per hour, which is about the same top speed as a Bugatti. The droid could accelerate or decelerate by using handles, much like a motorcycle, to make sure that it could operate safely. Its creators designed in special footlocks to ensure that the B1 was safely secured at all times. On the top of the STAP, on each side, you can see the blaster energizers and the repeating dual blaster cannon. Moving down, you see the 2 drive turbines which allowed it to hit these insane speeds, and below that, the anti-gravity projector, also known as a repulsor lift, which allowed the STAP to get off the ground. This was great in reducing friction, which of course saved energy and allowed for a greater top speed, but a cool bonus feature was that it allowed it to go up to 25 meters, or 82 feet up in the air. The whole thing was powered by high voltage energy cells, which meant that the STAP was only intended for shorter missions, and if a battle drug out, it could start running out of power, and would have to return to base, or a Trade Federation dropship. And the whole thing was covered in thin plate armor, which was really only effective against small blaster fire. The STAP was used throughout the Clone Wars, and was successful at carrying out its intended goal of providing excellent reconnaissance and the sinister ability to hunt down retreating enemy forces. Its only flaw was that with an open cockpit, the enemy troops might just focus their fire on the battle droid itself, and that some Force users were able to just rip them off of the STAP. What's really interesting is that its history carries on after the Clone Wars. And during the Galactic Civil War, a Jawa warlord by the name of Witten actually found and modified an STAP. He was able to remote control the B1 battle droid pilot, and since he modified it to shoot twin ion cannons, he had the ability to take out much larger vehicles. And then he went on to use the STAP in Jabba the Hutt's gladiatorial games. But that's it for the STAP's history, but I definitely want to go over some cool facts and some behind the scenes stuff. Although this STAP was introduced in the year 32 BBY, the idea had been around for at least 3,600 years before that. This version was popular during the Old Republic era, and George Lucas had the basic idea of the STAP way back in May of 1973. During one of the first drafts of Star Wars, he wrote a scene where the heroes travel through a dense jungle on something that he described as jet sticks. 20 years later, when they started writing Episode 1, the design team referred to them as single-troop armed pogo sticks, and there were some heavier versions of the vehicle, but eventually they decided to go with the lightweight design of a hummingbird. There were a ton of different Legos and toys made of this thing, and it was featured in several video games. And originally it was said that organic beings could not ride the STAP due to the immense heat that would be generated by the thrusters, but this has been updated, retconned, because we saw that Anakin was able to ride one. Well, that's it for the Single Trooper Aerial Platform. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button, and be sure to leave a comment down below if I missed any cool facts, or if you have a suggestion for future videos. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at MetaNerdz so you can see us build Star Wars props and cosplays, along with some other cool Star Wars stuff. If you want to help support this channel, check out the description below for our Amazon store and our Patreon. And be sure to subscribe, because we're making videos like this every single day. But most important of all, remember, always engage the footlock, and the Force will be with you, always.